So my office is based here in Moss Landing. That's where Cara and I are sitting right now. And I've really, really loved working with the Moss Landing Marine Rec community and seeing how the two kayak rental shops, Monterey Bay Kayaks and Kayak Connection, work together and share tips and skills on how to guide tours responsibly in Elkhorn Slough. We have this kind of tricky raft that's right by the Highway 1 bridge. You can see the pylons for that in the background there. There's some weird eddies and currents and deep water that just butts up right against the eelgrass bed where these otters rest. And these two, the staff of these two shops working together to try to safeguard and protect these sea otters is my favorite thing about this program, bringing these groups together and encouraging collaboration. And I probably love talking more about cause than just about anything else that Sea Otter Savvy works on, because it's really at every turn very expiring. Oh my gosh, that was probably a Freudian slip. Inspiring to me. Okay, let's go. There we go. So recognition of a strong conservation-focused business model has grown over the decades since maybe some of you remember the Dolphin Safe Tuna campaign. We were just talking about that over dinner last night. That dates back to 1990. And I reckon there's a few of you on here that weren't even born in 1990 and just think that's existed forever. So this is really pushing a marketing angle on stewardship and conservation behavior as part of a business model. You may have seen one or more of these seals of approval. And you'll see up in the upper left-hand corner, we have our own seal of approval that we use for cause. So eco certification programs, these social marketing programs have sort of a consistent set of components. The participation is voluntary, so folks come in and apply or are asked if they're interested in applying for certification. The program develops guidelines and best practices, hopefully with the input from the community that they're certifying. Develop outreach materials and education materials, again, useful to get input from the community that you're certifying. Conduct regular training workshops, certify compliant entities, so you have a certain set of criteria that the entities need to meet in order to be certified, and then publicly recognize those that are certified for their stewardship. So the mission of the CAUSE program is to develop a community-based education and recognition program for businesses, organizations, and individuals to increase their awareness and knowledge, and ultimately that of their customers, members, and visitors about responsible marine wildlife viewing practices, marine life behavior, natural history, biology, ecology, and conservation, the laws and guidelines protecting marine wildlife, and stewardship of the marine environment. And we really want to encourage a change in how folks define their community to be broad and include wildlife, so inclusive on a really broad scale. And from an ecosystem standpoint, wildlife are definitely legitimately part of your community. And I think it's in this time where world population is constantly increasing, we really have no choice but to really consider how we might coexist as a whole community as a whole. And so the mission of CAUSE is really to create a benefit to businesses for showing stewardship. There's obviously a benefit conferred to wildlife, and those come together to benefit the community as a whole. So if you were here back in 2019, you might remember this slide. We were in person then at the Mott Center, and hopefully we'll be in person again soon. And I put up this slide, and Cara and I were working on the CAUSE program together, and we kind of shared This was actually 2019 was the year that I did the first certification. And so this was kind of at a point where we were trying to figure out whether this program was really working or not. And so the green were the positives, and then I had kind of a grumpy attitude, which is sort of the glass half full perspective that I often have. And I just wanted to go through this list and kind of update it. And Kara's right here to help me too. But the first one, framework and guidelines in the hands of the members. So that's great. They can contribute to the framework and make suggestions as we go. And then my negative comment was no one helps. This is not so much true. So I think it's kind of broken down in a similar way to, you know, when you're in high school and you had to do a group project.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a majority of folks that are very helpful, and then, you know, some maybe not as helpful, but they're all great stewards. And so I feel everyone is contributing in the way that works best for them. Community, so the green, next point, community supporting each other, collaboration. Communities are not always collaborative. I have to say, I just have to give another shout out to Moss Landing for being amazing. And I want to tell you that every Elkhorn Slough based ecotourism, marine recreation business in Moss Landing that is resident in Moss Landing is now certified under CAUSE. So this community has been really, really great.
Helpers.
Yes, helpers. Materials, products, and support contributed by sponsors. And then my comment to that was it's expensive. So yeah, we do have to bear the cost of this. But like I said, this is my favorite component of the Otter Savvy program, and so I consider it money well spent. Customer experience based on certification element, customer experience based certification element. We do still find that customers are not always reliable sources of information, and gathering surveys is definitely logistically challenging, but I feel like we've gotten more into our stride with addressing both of these particular points and having a diverse array of customer-based evaluation for the certification process. So I think in general, I'm a lot happier. I'm a little more on the glass half full side today. So I'm not gonna spend time. I was gonna pop over to the website, but I'm just gonna let you guys do that. This is a really important element of the program because it lists all of the stewards, all of the certified stewards. It has a little slideshow at the top that's pretty fun to watch. It has information about the program, and it has links to the program framework, which is a pretty long document that really fully explains the certification process, defines the different tiers of certification, the tiers being, you know, what kind of entity are you, and it has a checklist for applicants so they know exactly what they need, what components they need to meet in order to be certified, and has all kinds of information about the program. So if you really want to learn more, you can just scroll down to the bottom of the get certified page and click on some of the document links there to review the framework. And like I said, the certified members and those applying for certification can provide feedback on the framework, and we've updated it several times based on feedback from that community. So do go and check out that website. I don't know, Heather, did you pop that into the chat by any chance? Yeah. Okay, great, thanks. Just wanted to introduce you because I'm so proud of them. We have, since 2019, probably right after we had our symposium, we've certified 9 entries. We also had a special recognition to the Morro Bay Harbor Department. They weren't officially certified, but just recognized for their contribution to wildlife stewardship. So I'm just going to read each one of these out because I'm just so proud of every single one of them. And these are the folks these are really the helpers. Monterey Bay Kayaks here in Moss Landing and down in Monterey, Kayak Connection here in Moss Landing and Santa Cruz, Morro Bay Paddle Sports, hopefully Mary's joining us today, Elkhorn Slough Safari, Whisper Charters, Monterey Bay Eco Tours, Central Coast Outdoors, and then this year we certified 2 wildlife photographers. Actually, well, it's 3 because one of them is a twofer. Jeff and Wendy Photography, they're not able to be with us here today because, well, I'll tell you in a minute about them. And Ingrid Taylor Photography. So these 2 photographers have really go above and beyond, not only with their photos, but with their level of education and providing stewardship information in the captions and the content of their photography. And so they're the first 2 in a new tier for certification tier with CAUSE. So just everybody give these guys a little silent round of applause for the incredible work that they do. So here's some of our CAUSE swag that's provided to certified members, digital media for their websites and social media. We have counter cards at the upper right, you see there, to help educate their customers and actually share with their customers what this business has had to meet in order to be certified. We have stickers for shop windows, flags that they can fly, and each year during the symposium, I announce this year's Steward of the Year. And I am very pleased. So last year, you can see there's Adam, who's here with us today from Monterey Bay Kayaks, last year's Steward of the Year. The first one we did the year before, that was Morro Bay Paddle Sports. And this year, as I mentioned, they're not able to attend because they are on a photo expedition to Patagonia. This is Jeff and Wendy Photography, and I really encourage you to follow them on social media. You can visit their website. Heather can pop their website into the chat here for you to check it out. But their social media is really where the content is, because they can provide extensive captioning. I know you can't read the caption on this photo here, but this was them going up to Alaska, you know, outside of the Otter Savvy range, and not only educating in their caption, but educating the company that they were touring with and others that are enjoying their photography and seeing them as role models. And that they're at the upper right, that's them helping out during Sea Otter Awareness Week. Really, really incredible people, and I encourage you to enjoy their photography. And you can be, you all know how picky I am about sea otter photos. You can be completely confident in liking and sharing their photography that it is Sea Otter Savvy. So yay, Jeff and Wendy. Sorry you guys can't be here today, but we'll be sending them their award, or hopefully giving it to them in person. So some of our other CAUSE services, we have staff education, we can give in person, and we've been doing more virtual workshops like everybody has over the last few years. Recognition, so we on our website, as you saw, our social media, press releases, and if we have special projects, often they're film projects or some kind of article that's being written, that we choose from the CAUSE list in whichever community that's taking place, for their services to be utilized and featured in that. So, and then we do TripAdvisor reviews, and that's with the Community Active Wildlife Stewards account, and they're always positive, so we're not going out there doing negative reviews of people that are maybe not getting it quite so right. We're just giving positive reviews from a first person perspective of their stewardship. Oh, and one-on-one consultation with me. It's become especially easy now in Moss Landing because my office is basically, I'm sitting right on top of some of our stewards. So we conducted a survey just recently just to get some feedback from CAUSE participants, and some of the results were pretty interesting. So I just wanted to start to get an understanding of what they were liking about the program, maybe what was not working as well, and what they might like to see change. So this was kind of interesting from a business standpoint. Which of the following do you feel has been most effective? And I was kind of happy to see staff education workshops was overwhelmingly the most popular. And what's kind of funny, this just shows you, I think, how challenging it can be to work with within a community and with different kinds of people. But you'll notice I'm going to flip to the next one, which is the least effective, and there's some of the same ones. So there's overlap. Let's see, I think it's public recognition and stickers, flags, and digital media are both least effective and most effective. So that just means, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure out what that means, maybe by talking to folks one-on-one. The really interesting thing here is the competitive edge over other businesses, which is really the foundation for these social marketing programs, was overwhelmingly considered the least effective component of the business. And so that's something that in our next workshop we'll definitely want to talk about. This was my favorite. So being a member of Cause has changed the way I operate my business, and you can see it broke down completely between strongly agree and agree. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out, you can see, so remember we had nine certified business stewards, and you can see that the total participating in the survey was 7. So 7 out of 9 is kind of how this group often breaks down in terms of that question before nobody helps. So a 7 out of 9 helping is a really good, I consider that a win on my part. I think the larger we get and the more we expand, that it's going to get harder and harder to get more participation. And then I'm just going to share some feedback that was part of this survey as well. I'm not going to read these out completely, but these are, some of you are probably on this in this meeting right now. I don't want to embarrass you too much, but just some really great feedback expressed by participants. And I'm not going to read Dave's because it's the shortest. I love the partnership aspect. We're all moving towards the same goal, and we appreciate the guidance. So I really, really thank these folks for their feedback and helping us out with this survey. Cause goals. So what do we want to do in the future? Obviously, world dominion, world domination. So I'd like to definitely continue to certify all. I'd like to certify all Central Coast kayak rental operators, and we still have a few more to go. I've got a few I'm working on in Morro Bay still, and there's definitely plenty more to certify, plus including more wildlife photographers, and really moving on to the next number 3 on their recognition of hospitality businesses. I think our first hotel is going to be the Monterey Tides, which is that iconic hotel right on the coast in Monterey and in Seaside. And they've reached out to us, and we're trying to come up with a set of criteria that applies specifically to hospitality businesses like hotels. So we're pretty excited. I think we'll be certifying them in 2023, and who knows, maybe they'll be our stewards of the year next year. We really want to ramp up our staff education, and we'd like to include, be able to fund scholarships so that we can actually pay for special education opportunities for staff of the community stewards. And then, you saw the results of our survey. We are really trying to push evaluation, not only evaluation of the program and making sure that what we're doing is really effective and working both in its result for wildlife and in supporting businesses, but also, in case any of you on here are interested, we have a undercover shopper program. And so if you go to our website, you can find that under Get Involved. And we're trying to recruit undercover shoppers who help us with our evaluation. I, unfortunately, am fairly recognizable, and so I can't do undercover evaluation without getting like the full Otter spiel every time I show my face. So We always need more steward undercover shoppers, and we will pay for your excursion. So it's free for you to do.
I have a question.
Yeah, Cara has a question.
This comes from Erica. There seems to be a focus on Moss Landing. Have companies in Monterey and Santa Cruz shown interest?
So that's a really great question. So there is an unavoidable bias towards Moss Landing because I'm here and I'm very accessible, but I do work a lot in Morro Bay. It's been, I'll just say, a slightly more challenging community to get to participate. We do have Central Coast Outdoors and Morro Bay Paddle Sports certified down in Morro Bay, and we're really working to get a few more of the rental shops down there. Santa Cruz, we have Kayak Connection, so they have 2 shops. But we really haven't, I have to say I've been pretty lax on Santa Cruz, and part of this speaks to my sea otter bias, right? So we want them to show wildlife stewardship, but I have an unavoidable sea otter bias, and it's not as much of an issue in Santa Cruz, right? So I'm not as focused there.
But if you have a lead,
yes,
reach out, then let us know.
Yeah, so it's the best scenario is when folks, rather than us contacting them, they find out about us and say, we want to be certified, because that comes from that's their desire and their goal to fulfill. And I think it's much better than me pushing and reaching out to them. So although I can be pushy, so anyway, we do Monterey. So we are pushing in Monterey, and I'm not going to mention any names, but fingers crossed for Monterey.
So we have some questions here, and we only have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Can I?
No, we have until 9:20. Oh yeah, 5 minutes left. Yeah.
Okay, I got a great comment here from Kate Spencer. She says, for hotels, she suggests including no helium balloons allowed at events. I've seen a large balloon release from a seaside hotel wedding. Really good point.
Yes.
That would be.
I am going to. I'll have this chat saved, so I'll be able to remember that. That is a really good point. Don't get me started on balloons, honestly.
You had a bumper sticker about that, right?
Yeah.
Jan says, has there been any outreach to the 2 large kayaking groups in the region, the Monterey Bay Kayaking Group, 425 members, and Western Sea Kayakers? So like meetup kayak groups or something.
No, and you are going to connect me to those.
Thank you, Jan Loomis.
Yes,
Monterey
Jan.
Audubon. That is a beautiful idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Kate says, I can send you 2 great mobile kayak tours from Santa Cruz that also operate in Moss Landing.
That would be great. Yeah, I've been the mobile. So I know Blue Water Ventures and Venture Quest. I don't know if those are the 2 you're thinking of. Blue Water Ventures is right on the edge, and the owner is just always traveling and busy, so it's hard for her to go through the certification process. One of the things we did get from the survey, I asked how difficult the process of certification was, and it was almost across the board that it was a breeze. So it's much easier than folks think it is.
Yeah.
So once you go through it, it's not as bad as you're thinking it is, especially if you're already great stewards, which, yeah.